Reaching on the yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is good? What is good? Big Guy Fantasy Sports Network here on YouTube. What is going on? Make sure you like, you comment, subscribe. It's the Goal Line Goons. Yo, helping you all chase those fantasy football championships one goal at a time. Let's go. Let's go. We already lit. Okay. Treat what's good. My fantasy teams are in poverty. We are going to help. We are here to help. Albert, what is good? What is good? Let's just dive right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the fantasy football consistency game show. Let's get right into it. Hold up. Play the intro. All right, we're back. I got it done faster a little bit that time. You saw that. You saw that. Hold up. Let me fix myself. Make sure that we're good. We are fresh. Okay. All righty. We are starting tonight's stream off with the Fantasy Football Consistency Show. You can get all of our fantasy football consistency rankings over at BigGuyFantasySports.com, as you see down below. BigGuyFantasySports.com for all the latest and greatest in fantasy football tools, articles, and much, much more. All of our podcasts are over there. So you got to go check it out. The whole crew is over there. They're killing it. Big shout out to the whole Big Guy Fantasy Sports crew. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Taco, you were on fire last week. Again, remember, no looking, no fucking looking. Okay.
Yeah. But you gotta help me out with how many games. Though.
Like Scouts honor, no looking.
Yeah, but I need help with games. Because now it gets tricky. We're in fucking
we got week 7 now.
Yeah.
So here's how the game works. I will name 4 players, one at a time. Taco will have to guess the consistency rating. Only I will know the CR. And again, no looking. First up, quarterback, Green Bay Packers coming off a bye. He has to take on the Denver Broncos, who literally have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. No other than Jordan Love. Guess the consistency ranking.
How many games does he have?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
It's above 50%.
Huh?
It's above 50%, right? I want to say 80%. 80%.
Okay. 80%. While although the consistency rating is there at 80%, this is also a good quarterback to be able to possibly fill in for you guys. One, given the matchup. Two, with the fact that there are fucking 6 teams on bye this week. Okay. So with that being said, there's a chance that you may need to waiver a quarterback this week, or you may need a starting quarterback if you are dealing with one of these 6 teams that are on bye. Jordan Love could be a guy, matchup dependent, going up against Denver, 80% consistent. Just want to make sure that we throw that out there. Next up, we're going to go to the running back position. We're going to take it to the Pacific Northwest, and I want to show some love to the Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker. Where is the consistency rating? Give it a guess.
Walker's been a baller. I don't even think he's had any bad games. Honestly. I'm going to go balls to the walls, baby. 100% consistency.
Absolutely 100% consistency. And it's a divisional matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, but it is still the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals allowing points to opposing defenses. I look for Walker to go out there and have one hell of a day. Definitely a must plug and play for me. This next one, we're going to go tight in here.
Spicy.
We are going to go with the Washington Commanders, Logan Thomas. Logan getting very, very worked into the Eric Bieniemy offense, having to take on the New York Giants. What do you think his consistency rating has been up until this point?
Is it above or below 50? Because normally everyone you've done is above 50.
This one can be a wide range of outcomes.
So can I just go under 50? Because I don't think it's done 50%. I don't know the exact number, but it's under 50.
He is 60%.
What? That's bullshit.
60% consistent.
Bro, this is bullshit. That's bullshit.
As we sit here and we speak on a waiver wire Tuesday where everything right now is hot, the lines are open, they're buzzing. You need to go and get Logan Thomas. All right. He is 59% rostered in leagues, only been 39% started. You could definitely be able to grab him. I know he didn't do that much against Atlanta last week, but there he's playing the New York Giants. This is a completely different defense that he's going to be taking out.
That's some bullshit.
Next one for the wide receiver position, Jamar Chase. Now this one, not a waiver wire guy. Obviously, how Jordan Love and Logan Thomas are. Kenneth Walker and Chase are definitely must starts everywhere.
$67.
Okay, on the nose there at 67. Chase on a bye, so you're gonna be wanting to look for.
Remember with Burrow, those first games he was trash, and he's played every game.
Yep, started slow. Wasn't Now, with that being said, Chase, out of all the players that we just talked about, the one on the bye, we will be able to assist you in our very next segment with some strategic options and some strategic fillers as we get into navigating injuries on the other side. But for now, thank you for joining us for the Fantasy Football Consistency Game Show. Woohoo! Okay. All righty. Well,
might need another 10 seconds on
that. Yeah, I know. Damn it. Not a breath.
I think you bring up a good point. We've reached the first apocalypse. There'll be another one. There'll be another one. But for now, we're coming across our first one. And I guess the good and the bad of it is it's happening as we're seeing injuries pop up across the league. So for some people, it's like, oh, I have a bye week, but look, there's someone that I can go pick up to fill in immediately. And for other people, it's like, I have 5 weeks and now I have an injury. And what the fuck is going on? So it's a complex and a wide range of emotions.
Absolutely, yeah. You got bye weeks, you have injuries, and we are going to get into navigating both. Big names this week. Big names went down. One, we get a little bit of sigh of relief on him and his offensive tackle counterpart there in San Fran with McCaffrey and Trent Williams. Still waiting to get news on Debo Samuel. But of course, Kyron going down for the Rams. It sounds like Fields maybe could be a little bit banged up there for Chicago. Of course, Monty in Detroit. Taco, thoughts? What injuries have you concerned the most? And also some moves happened throughout the NFL today.
I mean, the first move that has, I would say, the fantasy community in a whole kind of on edge is that situation in Detroit. Like, yo, straight up, Gibbs, now's your motherfucking shot. You're gonna have any chance of saving our seasons from where we drafted you and what we believed in the offseason hype and your skill set and where they drafted you and all the tea leaves that pointed to you being used as the Kamara 2.0. Now is your shot to get some opportunity. We know Craig Reynolds is going to be involved. We know that Craig Reynolds is probably going to be involved, especially in the goal line. But overall, it should be a bulk game that we're hoping from Gibbs. We're hoping for his first breakout. His consistency rating must be ridiculously bad. But it all starts again tomorrow or next game, week 7.
Here, let me actually grab that for you, and I'll actually be able to answer that question for you. No, I think that with Monty kind of being up and down, that one definitely has me worried. For damn sure. For me, it's the Kyron. Kyron going down. Yeah, and then also, I mean, Ronnie Rivers probably not being back. It makes it to where you're gonna have to go Zach Evans, and you're praying that he stays upright for you throughout the duration of this week 7 outing.
Let's not forget they added in 2 more backs. They brought Endo back, and then they got I want to say Freeman. So they're not making it easy on anyone over there with the Rams. Sorry, but
yeah, but no, I mean, I definitely think that it'll be Evans who will for sure be the main guy that toes the rock for them. In that series for them, they do have to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. That Steelers defense is tough, very, very, very tough to run against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going to be interested to see how that works out. Evans not really a guy that, maybe high up there on the consistency rating tool, but definitely a guy that, should be available for you on waivers. I'm actually trying to just check one thing here. I know that he's definitely not rostered in this league. There we go. He is 4% rostered right now. You need to be going and throwing. This is now where you can start spending a little bit of fab. If you've been following the show, we've been kind of preaching not going out there, spending the fab. This is where now you can go out there and you can spend a little bit more, especially if you're in a league where guys really just on the load early in the season. In terms of Gibbs' consistency rating, it's 25%.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. I should have threw him on the show sheet, huh?
Yeah. Really fuck shit up.
I really threw you for a loop. Those are mainly like some of the injuries that really stuck out, really have me worried. I know that Leafs mentioned T-Law. I'm gonna touch on T-Law and Justin Fields really quick. Justin Fields already doubtful pretty much for week 7. If you were to ask me personally, not playing in week 7, which sucks because that's against the Raiders. Do you go? Do you play Bajet? I don't know. I probably wouldn't play Bajet. I would probably more than likely be swinging for the fences with a Jordan Love, a Sam Howell, one of these guys that have kind of been fringe, who've had maybe a couple QB1 weeks here and there. Love not so much, but you know what I mean. In regards to Lawrence, um, he was limited today in practice. Doesn't have any no injury designation. Um, he's saying that he feels better than expected. So a potential game time decision there against the Saints, but I'm fairly confident in his position. Um, he's not there. He has no injury designation. So, but yeah, those are ones that really worry me. Um, in terms of bye week fillers, bye week fill-ins, and just overall waiver wire ads, I first want to begin this segment with fuck no. Do not go and pick Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Like, I know that the fantasy community, as soon as they saw that, like, people were like, oh my gosh, like Julio. And I guarantee that there's like someone out there that's in the league where Julio wasn't a waiver ad. Like, they probably were just able to drop at him today just because it was like, wasn't like really on the team. First off, he's being signed on to a practice squad. Okay. Second off, just no. Just no. Like, he's just going in ring chasing. That's why it's Philly. Be on and Leonard Fournette going to Buffalo. Maybe that's something to look out for as well. Fournette right now, I guess he did not visit the Bills, but there's still multiple teams that are interested. Monday evening, I know he was supposed to be going to visit the Bills. Damian Harris kind of, dealing with that brutal neck injury that also resulted in concussion. I wouldn't be surprised if he possibly ends up on the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if I run out there and I just spin the fab like right now, right yet, just off of the murmurs of things. I would maybe wait until something is solidified. So, I mean, yeah, like that's my take kind of on that situation. I know there's rumors about that. Bills probably don't need to rush and hurry up and grab him. They're playing the Patriots.
I mean, and I know that Harris is the biggest reason why they're looking into it. But when you look at the way Latavius Murray has been performing, it feels like Leonard Fournette is more of like an emergency ad. It feels like Leonard Fournette is taking the exact same route that Julio Jones is chasing. And at this point in their careers, especially once you've made that enough money, I don't blame them. Why are you going to waste your time in the summer going through the grueling camp if you know what? At the end of the day, that's not what you really want. What you want to do is you want to go and get in the ring. You want to join a team that has a good shot to win the title, and you're waiting because you know this is a game of attrition. People are going to get hurt, and you're saving your best self for possibly in the playoffs when you'll be ramped up and you'll actually be used to the playbook and near the end of the season when they have the big games. So I think this is going to be around the time where you're going to see some guys go. It'll be interesting to see where a guy like Leonard Fournette goes. I think a playoff team in a situation of need will end up signing Leonard Fournette. I can see him ending up making his way to the Baltimore Ravens and that being a match made in heaven as they're really not getting that much productivity out of their running backs. Gus Edwards has been okay. Justice Hill has been okay. I think one more injury over there, you might see them go the way of Leonard Fournette. I think he's probably a better pass catcher than what they really have out of any of those running backs in that backfield. And I think he's a perfect fit with the Ravens, who honestly, when you think about it, need a solid running game to complement Lamar and really bring that defense down to want to stack the box so they can get some one-on-one coverage for their outside playmakers. So that's where you can put Zay Flowers out there isolated and get him to make plays with less defenders out there, because now you're forcing them to defend the run in a consistent way. Because let's face it, the Ravens want to run. And if they can run the ball, everything else becomes easier. And if you can get a running back that can consistently run, it opens up the game for Lamar. So I think that's the team that really should be going after Leonard Fournette. And to me, it really doesn't make sense with the way Latavius Murray is playing that he actually ends up with a team like the Bills.
Okay. It's long-winded as fuck. But yeah, that was a little short, sweet there nugget in regards to the whole Leonard Fournette rumors. Really quick, some ads that I want everyone out there to kind of be looking at. Josh Downs got his first career TD last week. Of course, that was against Jacksonville. They are taking on Cleveland. Cleveland is 19th in fantasy defense. Personally, I am all for you starting Joshua Downs against Cleveland. Fire him up. That's that's the way that I feel. Cleveland hasn't been impressive. If Deshaun Watson is going to be continuing to miss time, the offensive side of the ball is going to not probably be doing too well for Cleveland, and forcing the defense to have to be out there on more plays, not being able to play with fresh legs. And I think that we could see Downs having a big day. Minshew had over 300 yards passing in that game. I mean, it wasn't pretty. There were some turnovers. But also Jacksonville, one of the top teams in takeaways. You're playing Cleveland is going to be a completely different game. You're playing against a completely different defense, completely different team. They're not projecting him, super high, but he wasn't He's been in the games that he's played. He's exceeded expectations. He had 15.5 against Houston when he wasn't even projected. He was just 1 point shy of hitting his projection against Baltimore. We got Anthony Richardson back for 2 weeks. That was all right. For about a week of Tennessee happened. Put up 7.5 when he got to come into that game, and then beat his projection against Jacksonville by a point at 19.5. They have him projected for 12, and I'm loving the fact that they have it so low against such a shit defense.
Richardson still hurts. Ugh, anytime I hear his name, my heart begins to ache.
Richardson to miss the rest of the season, by the way. If you guys have not heard that, it is safe at this point to drop Anthony Richardson. And let's not get overly excited about Aaron Rodgers throwing a couple of passes out there, folks. Stop. Browns. I would not see the Browns as a top streamer this week. If you want to stream
that defense has been legit, bro.
Yeah,
that defense is consistently. Who are they facing this week? Even
they're facing Indy. I don't think that. I don't think that Minshew turns the ball over the same way. Browns defense is 19th. There's other options.
I think the Browns defense is better than the Jags defense.
There's other options that you could probably get a.
I personally like the Browns take, because again, I think that they're a better defense than the Jags. They showed out last week versus the 49ers. And when you have Myles Garrett on your side, it can happen in any game where he wrecks your whole game.
In terms of fantasy, though, they're not too great. They're not too great. What was I about to say? But yeah, that's pretty much like all. One more waiver wire ad that I actually do want to touch on is Rashee Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Definitely deserves some praises. Correctly is leading the receiving core for that team in every statistical category. I get that wide receiver 48 isn't, maybe too attractive for a lot of folks out there, but I mean, it's pretty consistent floors, and especially if you're heading into bye weeks, you got guys on bye weeks. This is the time where you're going to need maybe a stable floor. And if I could get that, and it's going to be two quarterbacks that like to sling the rock every time they play each other, in Herbert and Mahomes. So Rice is going to get targets.
And I'll say this: don't be shy to add a guy like Craig Reynolds, who we know is going to get some carries this week with Montgomery not playing. We don't know exactly how much they're going to give Gibbs the ball, and more than likely Reynolds is going to have the goal line carries. This guy, to me, is someone I don't spend a lot of time on him, but if I need someone for a week or two, especially with how disgustingly bad running back has been, Craig Reynolds is not a horrible upside play, upside dart to throw. And then another guy that I think has been kind of interesting and had a big play and has been consistently average is Kendrick Bourne. As we know, he has the ability to go off, as he has the big skill set. And for the most part, he's gotten at least 5 points a game. So he is not the best. I'm not saying he's the best. But if you are desperate and you need kind of a boom guy, he busts off because he's getting like 5 or so points in the bad games. But that's better than some of these other guys are doing at this point. So you could really do worse than Kendrick Bourne upside shot, especially versus Buffalo, where we expect them to be down most of the game. So they're going to be taking shots, which is going to give them an opportunity.
I would never fucking play that in my life. I'd rather go play in traffic, to be honest.
I mean, this shit's season, bro.
No. But I do like your Craig Reynolds call. I like that. You can go and you could get a Rashee Rice likely out of your leagues while he's 55% rostered, rather than go and grab a Kendrick Bourne.
In most leagues, Rice is rostered.
The only down thing that I have to say about Reynolds is, Baltimore coming into week 7, they are a top 15 fantasy defense. They're ranked 11, actually, just right outside of that top 10 window where we talk fantasy football. I don't think that I feel like Detroit is just clicking at such a high level. I feel like Detroit definitely pulls out the win. Detroit plus 140 on the line, plus 3 on the spread. That over unders at 42. Definitely sounds like that Vegas is thinking that there is an ability to where the Ravens defense can keep them in check. If you're gonna play Craig Reynolds, just be careful. Just be careful there.
I mean, here's the thing, though, about Robbie, like you said, there's 6 teams on bye, and then we got injuries, so people are going to be picking from fucking shit.
And that's where maybe kind of talking about that indie game. Maybe that's maybe where I go for a Kareem Hunt, who's only 47% rostered, has 17.6 fantasy points last week, and found the end zone in week 6, and did that against San Fran. You did it against the best damn team in the NFL. Is that maybe a case of the Browns just coming out hot and San Fran, not being able to get things clicked, being a little banged up after, their 6-week run of being undefeated? Okay, that could have played a part in it. But if you could do that against San Fran, I get that Ford is supposed to be the lead back. We've already seen him be functional in a 1-2 punch before. So I actually kind of like Kareem Hunt more so than grabbing a Craig Reynolds.
I wouldn't disagree with you there, but I just feel like probably in most competitive leagues, you'll probably have Kareem Hunt rostered and Craig Reynolds probably being the one that you're going to have to go for. But hell, if fucking Hunt is available, yes, go get him now.
Yeah, I feel like if Hunt, if it came down between the two, if Hunt's available, I'm grabbing Hunt. It's the softer matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's the softer matchup. So that's the way I would take that. Colts defense, which is ironically they were top before last week. Last week against Jacksonville really hurt them. They were a top 6 defense before playing Jacksonville, and Jacksonville really served it up to them. So yeah, those are some waiver wire guys that I really do want you guys to go out there, look at, pay attention to.
I have one last guy. I didn't mean to, but he's the guy from your team, the Washington Commanders.
Oh, Curtis Samuel.
Absolutely,
yeah, Curtis Samuel, absolutely, yeah.
35% rostered right now, with the way Dotson's been playing and with the way they've been giving him the ball. He's an absolute, and he's playing the Giants this week. Like, I know Banks has been solid, but more than likely he's probably going to be playing versus, McLaurin. And ride that boy. Not anything, but like Curtis Samuel is one of those guys right now that's going to be carrying you pretty far with the way he's been producing and what you probably cost to get him.
No, he's getting worked into the offense. Sam Howell, clearly has eyes for him, is able to find him, get him the open looks.
Yep.
I am not disagreeing with that at all. I actually thought I had led with him. At least that was my intention. But I think we had gotten into a couple of other players. Wide receiver 25, 51% rostered in sleeper leagues. I'm all in on going and grabbing Curtis Samuel.
How about this? He has touchdowns in his last 2 games, and he has in his last four games at least 40 yards receiving.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that he's only going to get baked into the offense even more. They're utilizing him for what they brought him there for. So no, I definitely like that. Getting into our next topic though, we're gonna review last night's game a little bit. Shout out Marianne for breaking the NFL. Finally, we have a new obsession that is not the Swifties. That Chargers fan was definitely all of us last night. And in just the true emotion of what that woman embodied on screen, I felt like that we all cringed a little bit just as much with her. Following last night's loss to the Dallas Cowboys, have we seen enough of Brandon Staley coaching in the NFL? Like, I'm the only person on this show that's done with seeing Brandon Staley make dumb decisions.
Well, it sounds like you should have a soapbox and continue.
Third quarter, ball right there at the goal line. You get the ability to then tie the game. Your defense is playing solid enough to where, okay, you get to the next stop. Now you're able to go march down again and maybe either A, take the lead by 3, with the field goal, or either you get the opportunity to punch it in. Brandon Staley's dumbass wants to go for it on 4th down in the third quarter, when you still have plenty of time to where you could have kept your team in it. You took your team out of it right then and there. Yeah, sure, when you got your defense made a stop after you just decided to turn the ball over on downs, your defense made a stop. And then after that, the offense gets the ball back. And what happened on that drive is, in the result of that drive, should have been the ending result of the previous drive. You ended up marching down and putting up 3. So at that point, you would have had an opportunity to go up by 6. Okay, even if Dallas scores, you march down. You put up a TD, or you put up another field goal. You're good. You win. You worst case scenario, you would have won by 3 fucking points. Worst case scenario. I'm done seeing Brandon Staley coach in the NFL because it's constant dumb decisions. And really quick, and how many times do Chargers fans have to keep enduring this? You go back, and it's constant close game after close game after close game after close game. Chargers have an industry plant and robot fans. Bro, she was dope. She was dope.
Yeah, and she's whatchamacallit. The Vikings gear that they have is actually from her son's football.
Yeah, it's from her son's game.
Yeah, so it's not even like all around. She's like if we were at the game, legitimately. Like think of like Steffi Smalls at the game. That's what this chick was. Like she cares about the game. She watches the game. Stop disrespecting her. Like she did nothing wrong.
I'd much rather I was happier seeing an actual real fan and a real fan get praise than like the bullshit Swifty things.
Yeah.
But anyways, furthermore.
But you know what? I feel like what Taylor Swift has done has given us more respect for the common fan because we're like, why are we need a blank space from Taylor Swift right now.
Anyway.
Like they need to calm down. They're being too loud.
Stop. Anyways.
Oh, that's perfect. But one thing about the Chargers, I have to say is this: they've lost some close and dumb games. Like this game versus the Cowboys, it was dumb to lose this game. Like you clearly had, like you said, an opportunity to win it, and if you managed the game better, you would win. And it's not the first time that Staley has had this issue. And I most poignantly want to go back to the Titans game because the Titans versus Chargers game, I sit back and I remember because that was the game that Robbie went to the Denver-Washington game, and we called that game, and I do not know how the Chargers lost that game. Like, they led in every statistical category versus Titans, but they lost the game, and I just couldn't understand it. And again, it's just another loss that reiterates we have all the talent in the world, we can put up all the numbers, but when it comes down to it, we can't tie our shoes.
And then like the Raiders literally trying to let them tie it up so that both of them, and then like you fail at that, and
yeah, so it's just
my gosh.
But I will say this though, overall for his coaching career, he does have a winning record, and we have seen a lot of good things out of this team, but we've also seen a lot of shitty things. But here's the season, like mistakes are made, and they're either, in most cases, you either get a blessing or a lesson. Sometimes you get away with the fourth quarter mistake. Other times you learn it the hard way, and maybe that's what it's going to take for him to take that next evolution.
We are 7 weeks into the season now. Yep. Okay. We are now entering the territory of, I hate the term must-win games.
Yeah.
Okay. Because every game's a must-win game. Everyone's a must-win game. But we are now entering the territory of, hey, these are now all must-win games.
Yes.
We are in the middle of October. The season isn't going to get any easy. It doesn't get easier as it goes. Your depth, the depth of your team truly gets tested. Your body is being tested. This is a wear and tear, dog eat dog. Like, they're out there trying to take your fucking head off.
And you know what the worst part is? They had the bye week. So now there's no more like, oh, we got the bye. No, you came out the bye week and got smacked in the face again. Now you have a losing record. You came into the bye week 2-2. You come out of the bye week, now you're 2-3. And guess what? Now you got to make sure you show up and show out, because guess what? You're the fourth worst team in the division, and you lost to the team that's like right below you. And Patriots and Broncos are the only other worst teams. And God forbid you lose to the fucking Broncos when you face them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. And this week you're facing the fucking Chiefs, so you desperately need this win. The Bears, okay, you probably beat the Bears.
And I wouldn't be shocked if in typical Chargers fashion, They would beat the Chiefs. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
You know what though? I'll say this. I feel like with this Swift magic, I don't know. I'm like the Chiefs are just gonna get it done. Like
I mean, obviously,
they're gonna be
I'm
befooled.
being funny. I'm being facetious. Like I wasn't being serious in the Chargers winning.
But check this out. Okay, so the Chiefs game, we figure is a loss. The game versus the Bears, they better fucking win that game. Especially because you might not have Justin Fields. They better fucking win that game. Then you have the game versus the Jets. I think the Jets at this point, with the way they're playing and the way how good that defense is, they can. That's a toss-up game. That could go either way. The Lions, I mean, I think the Lions we've seen, they can go out there and beat anybody. Then you have the game.
Let's not forget the Jets almost made it to the playoffs, like under Zach Wilson before. Like,
I mean, they did have a couple of other guys that came in there as well that did a good job, but you're right. And then they have the game versus the Packers. Then they have a game versus the Ravens. You know, they haven't played their 2 games versus the Broncos, which are saving graces, and they have a game versus the Bills. But, I mean, truthfully, they have a hard schedule. They have another game versus – they have a game versus the Bills still to come. They have 2 games versus the Chiefs that they haven't played yet. They do have 2 games versus the Broncos, which is helpful. But, you know, they have a tough schedule. It's very easy to see this being Staley's last season if they keep playing like this. Now, he's going to need to pull off some games. He's going to need to beat the Chiefs probably one of these games. And he's going to need to make sure he sweeps the Broncos in order to make the playoffs. Because
as much as we've already gotten through a lot of football, you know, we're like I said, we're in week 7. We got 6 weeks of football already. In that same breath, there is still so much time, Brandon Staley, for you to screw up.
Yeah. I mean, now's the meat and potatoes of the season. Because you know what? You know the difference between Brandon Staley and Mike Tomlin is? Mike Tomlin's a winner. The Steelers are 3-2 with fucking what? Like, how the fuck do they keep doing this year after year? Like, he doesn't even have much. And he's like, you know what? I have enough to be better than you with your fucking how many $1 million quarterback?
Staley has great talent.
Yeah.
He has one of the best rosters in the league, and it can't go out there and get it done.
But Kenny fucking Pickett not even balling yet? Like, you got Najee Harris but like, come on, Eckler's first game back, and what are we doing here? He's 100%. What are we doing here? Why can't we know that we're not down Mike Williams? Okay, guess what? Austin Eckler, here we go, baby. You don't have a big game today. But no, they don't see it the same way.
Yeah, it was awful. It was a travesty. And Marianne, we were all you last night, and we are not even Chargers fans, but we are all football fans.
And what's crazy is if they win the Cowboy game and if they win the game versus the Titans, not even the Dolphins, let's say they keep losing that game versus the Dolphins, but they beat the Titans and they beat the Cowboys last night. Instead of being 2-3, they'll be what? 4-2?
4-2, yeah.
That would put them all the way up there into the playoff picture, right there in the 3, 4, 5. Like, that's how bad those losses really mean to them before they go into this next gauntlet of the schedule, where you're going to face some of these tougher teams.
You're making it. They are making it hard on themselves. Staley to the Guangdong Southern Tigers. Yeah, basically at this point, like you're making it. 1, very difficult for you to even try and get into the playoffs. 2, wild card is starting to already slip away, and it's 6 weeks. So, yeah, Staley, if you can't secure at least a wild card.
I mean, I wouldn't say the wild card is slipping away because the wild card right now is 3-2, and he's doing 3. But if he doesn't win in like 2 of the next 3 games, which means they have to beat the Jets and they have to beat the Bears and probably take that loss to the Chiefs, they're going to be in trouble.
We'll see. We will see. Getting in here, kind of what we talked about earlier. 6 teams are on bye this week in the NFL. I want you to open up one of your rosters, and I will open up one of mine. and tell us who you're starting, and let's see how ugly shit is with the 6 buys. We both have to do the same thing. I will let you go first, really quick. The 6 teams that are on bye: Panthers, Texans, Titans, Jets, Cowboys, Bengals.
I don't know if I should take you to my most desperate team or a respectable lot.
I mean, go for whatever. Like, I'm just clicking on the first thing that I grab.
All right, so I'll go with the somewhat respectable team that's still dealing with injuries. All right, so
I have to find something pretty bad. Hang on.
actually, I don't even have a bye week in that one. How crazy is that? So I have to go with the desperate team. Okay, so I have Tony Pollard in a league where I already lost Nick Chubb and Mike Williams and Anthony Richardson, and I traded Cousins because I thought I had Richardson, so now I have nothing at quarterback. So, and Nick Folk's on bye. Like, it's been a fucking hell of a year. But yeah, instead of Tony Pollard, I'm going to be playing Najee Harris because I traded for him because, we're desperate out here. And thankfully, last week I picked up Foreman. I'm hoping that he still gets enough work to be halfway usable because my only other option is Chardonnay or Kendra Miller. So I'm pretty fucked at running back. Currently my starting quarterback is Gardner fucking Minshew. So it's desperate out here. I have Devonta Smith, which started great, but now is like fucking killing me slowly. I have Drake London, who started slowly, but is slowly being respectable. And I'm being like, fuck, now you're wasted because everyone else sucks. I have Cole Kmet, who I got off the waiver wire, who sucked when I put him back in his roster spot. But, I have Darren Waller, who's kind of been halfway respectable. So I have him. I had gotten Gabe Davis in that trade that I got for Najee Harris. So the trade was Kirk Cousins and Ridley for Gabe Davis, Christian Watson, and Najee Harris. So I finally played Gabe Davis last week, and he fucking sucked. The first time he sucked in like the season, like his worst game of the season. I had him last year. You knew I didn't want him because he fucking would always burn me. Whenever he was on my bench, he'd blow up. When he was in my lineup, he fucking sucked. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to curse you, Davis owners, because I'm going to have to play him. And he's going to suck for the rest of the season because I'm going to play him. And I mean no disrespect to you, Gabe Davis, because it's not your fault. It's what the game plan calls for. In most cases, you're getting some shots now. And because you're on my roster, someone else is just going to magically get those shots just because that's the season. And I'm praying Christian Watson does something. I am banking on Christian Watson because if Christian Watson doesn't do anything, my whole season's over. So, yeah, that's my desperate bunch.
Okay. That was all right. Okay. So for me, we'll take a look at my home league. 3-3 in this one, and actually, this is pretty ugly because it's a 2 QB. I got Joe Burrow on bye, so that means that we're running the Tyson Badgett stack. I'll be throwing a little bit of fab to go and get Badgett off of the waivers and to stack him with DJ Moore. Then he'll be dropped a week later after I get what I need out of him, just to hopefully keep my head above water. Ugliest probably QB decision that I've ever had to run in fantasy football. No, I actually ran. I got lucky one year with Nick Foles when he went on that tear with the Eagles, and that actually worked out pretty well. So maybe Badger can give me a little something here. So yeah, I'll be putting it. I put in a waiver for Badgett. to where I actually end up having to drop Zay Jones off of my bench just because that bench is consistent of Reed out of Green Bay, Jonnu Smith, George Pickens, and Mixon. In my IR spots, we got Khalil Herbert and Gibbs there, and I'm not dropping any of those guys. So Zay Jones is going to be the one getting dropped for Badgett to be able to make a complete roster. But the rest of the roster that will be starting for the rest of the week. Luckily, this one only had Bengals really on this one in terms of pieces being out this week. But we got Warren starting in place of Mixon. We got Brian Robinson going up against the Giants, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Tyler Higbee, Michael Pittman, Keontae Ingram, and Matt Gay. And then Miami's defense. I'll end up obviously swapping out that defense, and yeah, we'll see how that works out. See if maybe see I don't know. I might grab I'll grab Seattle's defense in that one. Someone dropped Seattle's defense last week, so I'll grab Seattle's defense and we'll be fine.
Yeah, defense is a hit or miss. I really prefer playing the matchup than having a consistent defense, unless I have one of those just fantastic defenses or
Arizona.
Yeah, that's kind of. Although Dobbs has been fucking shit up, bro.
And they're number 7 on the year in fantasy.
Yeah, I mean that's enough for me.
Badgett and Moore had a better connection than Fields and Moore the other day. Lee, what is good? What is good? Traded Puka for Adams yesterday. I like that. I feel like though we're in this situation with the Rams where both will be profitable for you come end of season. But it's Devontae Adams. It's Tay. The best defense get their backs blown out. It's mainly because Seattle has had big games against it. It's Seattle basically. If you were like based off of narrative, every other game that they play, they put up monster numbers. It's like they put up monster numbers against Detroit and the Giants, but against the Rams, Carolina, and Cincy, it was a bit of a struggle. Nope, I got a better idea. I'm playing Washington against the Giants.
Oh, that's a fucking cupcake matchup. That's beautiful. I mean, they say Jones might be back, but I don't know if that's better or worse.
Yeah, I'll just go all in Washington. Just be like, fuck it.
Fucking crazy.
Let's see here. All right, final topic of the night. Let's get into it so that Robbie can go and enjoy his Taco Tuesday. I got the barbacoa getting ready to pop off. About to chef it up.
Hey.
Week 7 matchup for your fantasy football purposes that you are going to be the most vested in. Like, obviously, we have our own personal teams, you being a Giants fan, me being a Washington fan. Those are games that will obviously be vested in that as a divisional game. So let's try and not go in that one. Obviously, we're both going to have Washington players, whether it be in our leagues or DFS, that will probably be playing and running up in that game just because Washington. Yeah. So let's try and not go with that one. What's a game that has you super like, yo?
There's 2 that I'm torn between. So I'm going to bring both. Dolphins, Eagles, and Chiefs, Chargers. I don't know which one got me more fucking crazy.
Okay, what the fuck? Right. Pay attention to the segment.
All right. I'm gonna go Chiefs and Chargers just for all the reasons that we were talking about earlier. For the Chargers, for the Chiefs side, I'm really liking the surgeons that we're seeing here from Pacheco. A guy that I think now is starting to feel like one of the more comfortable running backs that you can play, and one of the running backs that if I could trade for, I definitely would be looking for because I love the way they're using him. He's beginning to become a focal point. He's getting those goal line carries. They don't have the best receivers, and that's giving him a couple more opportunities. And he's actually getting some catches now as well. So Pacheco is going to be interesting. I want to see Eckler back in action. Quentin Johnson, I think this is the week where if he does not actually put up any kind of something, I am cutting him everywhere for whatever is necessary as we're managing these bye weeks. He's just not as possible at that point. But I'm hoping for at least some signs of life, at least some signs of I can do this, but nothing that I've seen yet. But further, I think Palmer might be able to really step up and kind of put himself into a nice position and hopefully play up. And it'll be interesting how Everett, if he continues to be a solid tight end, then maybe you kind of add as a filler and maybe a trade or pick up from your waiver wire because he's still there with the Chargers. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting game. Hopefully, we can also see Rice continue being a solid player for the Chiefs and being another guy that you can add. So all around, I think that's the game that definitely has me feeling like I'm 22. See what I did there? And they're playing on October 22.
Anyways, I'll actually take the other one that you wanted to go ahead and hit on. And look, the Miami Eagles game for me right now, that over under at 52 points. A lot of players in skill position players in both of these matchups, very high on the consistency ranking charts. I'm pretty sure if you were to run the data, break them both down by team, everyone for the most part is pretty much above that 60, 67 percentile in terms of fantasy football must starts from the receiving cores, which obviously feature, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. And then, on the other side of the ball, you got Waddle, who's, really been catching fire recently, Tyreek Hill, and well, I mean, I guess we can count Smythe a little bit in there, somewhat. Everyone's getting the ball in Miami, and it doesn't really matter. All the way to the backfields of DeAndre Swifts, the Gainwells, to the Mosterts. Jeff Wilson Jr. may or may not be coming back, and of course, that how that can now make things even more effective or make that running game even more effective while a chance still misses a couple of weeks. Very interested in that. Super close game here on the lines from a betting aspect. Super close spread. You got Miami as a plus 105 underdog, 125 favorite for Philly with a 2-point spread here on Tuesday night. I'm super, super vested in that one. You're firing up all of your Dolphins. You're firing up all of your Eagles. There's really no doubt about that in regards to those matchups. Let's just get one quick which one you're staying away from, and or that I won't say staying away from because you don't got a whole lot of games this week to stay away from. But what is one game that has you nervous the most given the situation and the narratives surrounding it?
Is the Thursday night game, Jaguars versus Saints. Wow, the Thursday night.
That's going. Stevenson's not. They're basically naming Zeke as the starter.
Yeah, although Stevenson did show promising work last week, and did get a touchdown. I like the way Evans has been used. It really depends on how deep you are at running back. That's like you can't ask that question in a vacuum. You'd have to look at, point scoring if it's PPR, straight up PPR.
Mike Evans for Stevenson. Yes, to answer your question, Cohen. There you go.
I know. I'm going to Stevenson partly.
God, answer the fucking question. Gosh, don't dance around it. Just answer it.
I don't know because I'm trending back to Stevenson. He got enough work. He got a touchdown. Mike Evans is blowing up, but do you trust Baker Mayfield season long?
Yes, the ball has to go somewhere. There's only one ball, Taco. The fuck?
Fucking Baker. I don't know, man. No. But the Jaguars Saints game, it's Thursday. You got Ridley, who's been underperforming. You got Olave, who's had some tough games. You're playing on Thursday, so you're forced to start your guys. You might have thought about playing some of these other guys, and maybe you may not. You might regret it, or you might play him. I definitely think that we're interested to see how Kirk is being used, because Kirk is slowly creeping up as that wide receiver one on the team as far as numbers and production. Ridley may be playing on the outside, but Kirk is putting up the point, the numbers of the team, and that's a trend that we've been seeing. And I think that's something that I'm watching very closely. And I'm really watching if Olave can finally have a really big bounce back game. Jaguars seems to be like they're a somewhat decent passing defense, so it'll be interesting to see what and how they do versus the Saints in this matchup.
Jaguars have had takeaways in each of their last 4 outings, so definitely something to look out for there. Kind of like what's been happening, with Olave. I'm not panicking on that one yet, but definitely know that's a matchup that we want to watch out for, especially with Lawrence possibly being a game time decision in that one. Should you try and march out there and wait that one up to the last minute, Bethard is who you're going to try and go and run an ad drop for. One that has me worried the most is the Raiders versus Chicago. Chicago having to come out there with the backup. The Raiders are the Raiders. You never know which Raiders team you're going to get. Chicago seems like they've had a little something clicking there, and they're starting to get it together. Can they be able to keep that momentum going underneath Tyson Badgett? I think that is going to be the most interesting question. I think that is, with given the bye week situations, if you're in 2 QB, you're likely to be in a position where you may have to be forced to start Badgett. I just gave a scenario where I am. Obviously, depending on whether or not I land a trade tonight or something or the other. But removing that scenario from it and just sticking purely to the topic, definitely one that I'm super interested in seeing as to how that works out. When I take a look at it, just kind of combining the whole betting analytics along with the fantasy side of things, not looking like it's going to be a high scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a high scoring affair in the first place. Neither of these teams are going out there and trying to and lighting up the scoreboards because either team can really ever get anything going. Chicago's had their peak games. And obviously, the Raiders have one of the best receiver running back duos in the National Football League, arguably, when they can get things going and get things moving between Adams and Josh Jacobs. So that one has me on pins and needles. That one I think that I'll be watching, gritting my teeth. But other than that, I'm your boy Rumbles Robbie. That's TDS Taco. This has been the Goal Line Goons. DM us any of your fantasy football questions, and catch me tomorrow night on Rumboys for our AMA. And yeah, cheers to me. Cheers to you, to the whole Goal Line Goons crew. Helping you chase fantasy football championships. One goal at a time, baby. Dilly dilly. We outie.
Preaching on the, yeah.